The struggle, the bigger the peace. The bigger the suffering, the more peace. For me, I made a decision, and my decision was to be the best person I could. And I basically, I wake up and say, fuck your feelings. And that doesn't mean like, don't take it literally, your feelings. But sometimes you have to go beyond what you're feeling. Look, man, you're wasting a bunch of percentage here. We have 80 more percent that we're not tapping into, because in this other 80% is suffering, pain, failure, self-doubt, darkness, and then a whole bunch of light. But to get to this light, you gotta go through all of this shit. So a lot of us know that. We know I can get over here, but over here, man, this is much better, because I gotta go through this journey that is not fun. This from 20 to 100%, this shit in between is not fun. So we decide to live over here. So everybody goes, how do you do that? You know exactly how to do that. You know exactly, it's not a magic trick. It's all back down to a very primitive mindset of we just have to do. You have to suffer. You have to make that a tattoo on your brain. It's like breathing. Breathing becomes normal. Like we don't know that we're doing it. That's how you have to live your life. When that alarm clock goes off at 4 or 5 in the morning, your mind says no. You just say, this is what we do. It's what we do now. Because to get to where you want to go, the amount of pain involved, I'm not saying physical, I'm not saying you got to break yourself off. The amount of mental pain of how many times you're gonna have to do something that you don't want to do to get to where you want to go is gonna be, there's gonna be more times you do something that you don't want to do than you are gonna want to do it. And that's your new norm. That's your new norm. So then it's like breathing. And then once you do this over and over and over again, it becomes like breathing. I don't want to live this lifestyle, but to get to the other side of this, I have to. And every day you wake up, it sucks. And when it's over, you feel better. It sucks, you feel better. And as you get going, as every step you take in that journey, as you're like, for me, I run every day. I hate it. But every step I take, I'm like, all right, mother, you're beating the demon again. You gain knowledge through suffering. And on the other end of suffering is a world that very few have ever seen. It's a beautiful world, because that's where you find yourself. Once you break these barriers that you have made for yourself, like the mind is the most powerful thing in the world. It is so amazing that I used to be a 300-pound guy, and I thought that was it. Could barely read, could do anything, and now that what was inside that person was this guy that's in front of you today. That's how scary the mind is. And that's what I started realizing through this journey, is that once I got a taste of, wow, man, I haven't even begun to crack what the mind is capable of. And what I started realizing is on the other end of suffering, that's the real growth of life, because you realize how the mind processes shit. And I talk about another thing called theory and practice. A lot of people are theorists. These smart guys that read these books and shit, man, and they sit down, they tell you what the mind is supposed to do. And a lot of us listen to that shit. It becomes like, this is it, man. This old man who has been studying the mind forever, this is the cap that we have. By being a practitioner, I went out and realized a lot of these guys are so wrong, man. The mind has capabilities that are so unknown, and I found that through suffering. And there's a whole nother world on the other end of that. We all live in this world where our brains are keeping us in this box. Outside that box, on the other edge of suffering, which is on the other edge of that 40%, is a world that's endless of opportunity. But we are afraid to go outside that box, because in that box is comfortable. That's where all of our nice stuff, that's where the nice 4-lane highway's at. I know where the restrooms are at. I know where the gas stations are at. Outside that box, man, God gives you a shovel. He says, man, start digging. That's not fun. But when you dig your own path to all kind of stuff that's unknown. And that's why I started realizing, man, like on the other end of this is some beautiful stuff. So I got outside my box and realized, man, 300 pounds, now look at me, I'm 185 pounds, and on the other side of the box was all this stuff. And I know it's over there until I climbed the wall. I like suffering in the way that is competitive, that brings out the absolute best in me and in everybody else. Even the hardest men, in times of suffering, what we do is we forget how hard we really are. Because that's what suffering is. Suffering is a test, that's all it is. Suffering is the true test of life. And so that cookie jar travels in my brain. So whenever I get put in a situation where I have poopy pants, the woe is me mentality of, oh my God, life sucks, I take the 1 second decision. I step out of my life for 1 second, go in the cookie jar, pull up, oh, motherfucker, you were in 3 hell weeks and finished 2. One of those hell weeks, a guy died because it was so bad. Oh, you are a badass. All right, how I look at these races is I'm 50 years old. When you live this many years, what happens is it takes about a good 10 years of people telling you and you experiencing how fucked up life is. The highs and the lows of life. I can pack that motherfucker in 80 some hours and I can get, so the knowledge comes from the experience, not the race. It's not about the race. So like I said, like my life, if I were to take the first 10 years from 20 to 30, I learned a lot. All I've done with these races is I condense 10 years into 80 some hours. The highs and lows you experience in a race like this, man, it gives you a lifetime of knowledge. And people get it all twisted, they don't understand it. And that's fine. But these people aren't trying to win the race, some are. These people are here trying to find themselves. And the answers they get on the other side of this journey, they can only get by doing some shit like this. Suffering, my friend, suffering makes you a very knowledgeable person. I wasn't born healthy. I wasn't born with some great body alignment, some great, I have sickle cell, I have all kind of shit. I have all kind of health issues, all kind of, I'm f***ed up. So I had a choice to make. And the choice was, growing up, okay, this hurts, that hurts. We can just sit down and do nothing. Or we can see how far we can push the human body. So on that journey, as I started getting more and more into my mind and started realizing that what I'm capable of doing, my mind got stronger. So the pain in my knees, while it sucked, I've been doing it for so long. It was like it became my new norm. Like, okay, my knees hurt. Stop, and I call it like stop feeling sorry for yourself, but you sometimes have to ignore your feelings.
People want to know where I find my strength at, where I get my strength. I get it from a lot of places, but right now, this morning, I'm getting it from, there's not a that's up. There's not a car, there's not a person. Everybody's in their bed, sleep, dreading that it's a Monday, hate it's a Monday. And I'm loving it. I'm loving that. Where everybody's getting weaker, I'm getting stronger. It's not about the running, the swimming, the push-ups, the sit-ups. It's about what those things do for your mentality. You don't get better on a daggone couch. You get better by coming out here and getting after it every daggone day.
I study the darkness. You find no answers in the light. None. It's too happy, it's too nice. And we don't need to be taught how to live in happiness. That just comes naturally to us. Happy moments, but the dark times, man, you can't get there unless you put yourself there. Life will take you there. But when you get into those dark moments, that's why people, how are you able, man, I couldn't read and write till I was a junior in high school. How are you able to write like this, man? Well, I go to such places in my mind and I study the darkness. Like, it's not just physical. When I was growing up and I saw my mom getting beaten, I got beat. And I was some stuttering little black kid in an all-white school, and I'm on stage, and I gotta say one line in front of 15 people, and I walk off stage because I was stutter. All those insecurities and all those things, man, I used to go home and cry. I'm like, oh my God, man, I'm so f***ed up. Hang on, man. As I got older, we gotta study this shit, man. The only way we're gonna get through this is if we study it. So every time I'm in a dark moment, and life's up around me, whether it be physical or just life, I get in it, man, with a pen and paper. I'm like, okay, this sucks. I can feel like I'm losing my shit. But let's study this. Let's come out of this genius. Cut the bullshit. Just get to the weeds of that you are yourself up by not examining your brain. You're not examining your brain. Mess is it. That's done. You examine your brain, and that takes some hard work and suffering. And if you're not willing to do that, I'm sorry. You can't watch it, man. You gotta get out there and be like, oh, this hurts. This hurts real bad. I don't think this is smart. And then, guess what happens? The body will adjust. It will adjust. Every morning I wake up, I believe in winning the battle against yourself. People say, why do you say that? Because there's a lot of things you can control. When you wake up, I talk about making your bed. Make your bed. Make sure your house is clean. Make sure you get your breakfast. Make sure you shower, shave. Whatever you're doing, control that. Don't hit the snooze button. All these things are very important. That's been told a lot of times. Why don't you hit the snooze button? Because you wake up already failing. You're already behind the power curve. So what happens when you hit the snooze button? You may not make your bed. You may not do your hair the way you want it. You may not pick the right clothes out in the morning time. And I go back to this real quick. Remember how you had a job interview for a job? We've had several of them in our lives. What did you do the night before that job, weeks before the job interview, when you knew you had it? You prepared you had a bowl out for your oatmeal, your cereal, whatever you had in the morning time. Your coffee cup was out. Your clothes were laid out. You studied, you rehearsed, you were ready. You brought your best self. You were going to war with yourself because you wanted that interviewer to see your best self. You won. You got the job. After a few months in that job, you look around, I got the job. You start to back off. The clothes aren't out. You're not ready. You hit the snooze button. You don't get up on time anymore. You realize that you can still have this job and not be your best self. The interview you is gone. Your job is gone. You have your job, but the interview is gone. So winning the battle in the morning time is just that. It's that you wake up in the morning time and you own all this stuff, because once you leave your house, the world then gets at you. And that's why I believe in not getting up in the morning time and checking your phone immediately. Everybody does that. They get up, the first thing they do is grab their phone, look at the phone. Maybe bad news on there. So how's your day start off? I don't go to the gym. I don't make my bed. You're caught up now on that phone. That's how your day starts. You lost control. So once you win that battle in the morning time, then once you go out, now you've won. You go outside your house, you may lose your job, you may have a bad hit, but you won something. So you're going into battle having already won something. Having already won. So then if you hit the snooze button, you go out, you're just defeated already. You're behind the power curve. Now you've won something. You feel better about yourself. So now you're able to take these hits along the way. Life is one big psychological warfare that you play on yourself. You play on yourself, man. The most important conversation I ever had is with myself. No one's gonna come to help me. No one's gonna come to help me. It's me against me, period. And so I had to man up. Something in you has to wake up. And usually the only person that can wake it up is you. Sometimes you can read a David Goggins book because I was all this shit and then a lot more up. But if you don't have a little flame, just barely, you're done. I can't light it for you. And that's the harsh reality of this life that I want to get across so bad. You can watch me, you can watch you can watch Rogan and Cameron Haynes, all these you can go to Tony Robbins's bullshit, all this shit. Do all this shit. If you could keep going back and keep spending money and spending money and spending money with no results, you can wonder, wow, maybe let me go try out David Goggins. He ain't gonna help you. You have to explore, examine the insides of yourself. And what do you really want out of life? Your friend and a lot of people out here just don't want it. So guess what? Have fun with your life. Go from 3 to 350 to 400 to 450 to 500 because you don't want it. And that's the harsh reality. I can't give you shit. You can't give them shit. It sucks. And that's the one thing, if I could teach anybody anything, it just sucks. I was 290 pounds twice in my life. I do not like to do the things I do, but there's humongous satisfaction from doing it. There's humongous satisfaction from lacing your shoes up saying, I don't really want to go for a run today. And then running. And then getting back and saying, wow, I did it. And that's what it's about. It's about these small steps to doing things you don't want to do. Because every day, I wake up out of my bed, and there's my shoes. My shirt, my shorts. Depending on the weather. There's some days I wake up, and I just look at the motherfuckers for hours. And then I'll start walking around the house. And I say, I ain't running today. I'm not doing shit today. Nothing. I don't have to. Did all that shit. I don't need all this shit. I went through all this hell weeks and got my ass kicked all the time and made it. What am I doing this shit for? And that's when I think, this ain't about you anymore, motherfucker. This ain't about your ranger schools and getting beat as a kid and shit. You have an obligation, not to yourself, but to everybody out there that is touched by what you do as a human being. While nobody knows what I'm doing, no one is videoing me and shit, I am a virtual trainer mentally, because there's a lot of people out there saying, man, David Goggins is getting after it today. And if I wake up one morning and don't do that, I go back to that David Goggins who lied about being who he wanted to be. So my thing that keeps me going every day is my mission in life. While I did not choose it, I'm an introvert and I hate what we're doing even right now, is to always stay the course. You man the up every day of your life because you know exactly what it is to not man up. I've done that too many times in my life. So that's what keeps me going.